You're tuned in to WDIB Media, the voice of your community, giving you double the information and inspiration.
Yes.
You're listening to A New Day, and we're your hosts, Juicy J.
And Mr. Bay.
And we're back, people.
Yes, we are back from the break, and let's get right into it.
Let's get into it.
Last week, we had Dennis Febo up on the call into the show, all the way from New Jersey.
Yes.
Up there, Jersey City and surrounding areas is up there doing a lot of good work up there, working with the jail reform. He's working in the jails. He's working in the community. I mean, he's got his hands in a lot. And we finally got him on a show to talk about this thing about race and how it's not even really a proven idea, like where it all comes from. And so before that we were talking about, what the work we're doing with Queen City Unity with Jorge Milars over there. And we are ambassadors with Queen City Unity.
Yes.
And we deal with a lot of different, with Queen City Unity, it's welcome to all. It doesn't matter your race, your sexual preference, whatever the case may be.
Your social, economic status,
yeah.
Nothing. You just come as you are.
And we come together, and nobody's fighting, and nobody's looking at each other, judging each other. And I really think it's a beautiful place to start. We got to start somewhere.
That's true.
We may not always agree on, we might have cultural differences and things like that. But, I find that just like with race and just like some of the things that we have gone through as a community, when I'm talking about community, I'm talking about us as so-called black people in America, but also the other people that surround us, because everybody's affected by racism.
Absolutely.
Whether they want to accept it or not, And I was listening to something earlier, because I do my little YouTube, I got my little YouTube stations just like my news or whatever, and I try to take in wisdom from different sources. And one of the brothers, actually, Brother Rich, he does a lot of the recordings for Red Pill, Blue Pill, those guys up in New York, and they drop a lot of metaphysical stuff. And we were talking about the show and how we want to take it. And we are conscious people. We are aware that it's something bigger, out there. And so he had brought up a point about when we become conscious, how we can kind of go into a place where I'm just light, and I'm just we just these spiritual beings, and we don't want to.
Right. We
kind of mask the outer. It's like, why can't we be all of that?
All of it, right?
And so I'm one of those people too, because I could be out there, and I'm definitely about the light, and I'm definitely about the right, and I'm I know that we're bigger than these bodies we're in at the end of the day, but also I have this DNA tie that I cannot escape that's in me. I look in the mirror every day. I got this long kinky hair and brown copper color skin, and my children, my wife, everybody around me, we all looking the same. We got this brownness about us, and so, or black, or whatever you want to
call it.
And so I was just thinking how a lot of times where we try to, because it's such a topic that brings about so much pain, we kind of try to escape it, and we don't want to talk about it, or when we do talk about it, it's like to point something out that we already know exists, but what are we doing to address it, so it's not affecting us, so we're not carrying on those generational,
I would say the generational angers.
Yeah, cause I know sometimes as a man, and as a man of color, black, I won't say color, cause it's no such thing. But anyways, that's another show.
Another show.
But as a black man, so-called black man, in America, and I do see a lot of bias, and I do see a lot of hypocrisy and things outside of this community, but also within the community. And so we need to start having some healing circles or something, and have some open forums where people can come and talk, where nobody's you know,
Well, I think what you're
beating
trying
them
to
up.
say is like, we have to have some type of forums where it's a truly judgment-free zone.
Yeah.
The same way the judgment-free zone that we have with Jorge Malares and with Queen City Unity. That's one of the best things that I really love about that organization is that it's truly that. It's truly a no judge zone. Everybody that's a part of the organization and, from the ambassadors, everyone is different. It's multiple sexual orientations, it's multiple races, it's multiple social economic statuses, and I think that's just a beautiful thing. When we all come together, we come together to just try to make Queen City here in Charlotte just better. So that's one thing that I really like about that. I think we need more of that.
Yeah, it starts at home. Obviously we can touch more people. Hopefully this show gets out globally.
All right.
One day we'll be, broadcasting live every day and going out there and doing our thing. But for now, we're doing what we can do. And I think sometimes because of the way the system has so-called, has beat us down in a sense, a lot of people feel like they're hopeless and it's no use and nobody cares, and when we just living inside this little box and we don't see the blessings that's around us because we're so focused on that one station, that one channel, that one feeling, that we miss out, or we try to put everybody else in a box based on an experience that might not even happen to you.
Right, but it could have happened to someone. But I just want to piggyback on what you said. You made a valid point. You said that it all starts at home. And I think that's the thing that we really need to go back to because, like I've always said, that racism and hatred, you're not born with it. It is something that is taught as a learned behavior.
Yes.
So I guess one of the biggest things is how do you, and I know that we don't have that particular problem, us personally, but as a whole, how do you start something over? If you were born into a racist family, whatever your race may be, but that you want to see a difference, that it's not right, but you have that grandparent, or sometimes depending on how old your parent is, and they have those views, but now that as a child that it's wrong, a child being, I'm saying someone of my age per se, and then you have your own children and you don't want to instill that in your children. I think that it's really hard because you know how you want to raise your children, but also you do know the influence that your parents, their grandparents or great-grandparents will have.
Friends, cousins, peers, TV, radio. It's influence all around us every day. We get our phones every day. We watch social media. You can scroll down. You can see all the duality. You can see one way of thought on this side and other way of thought on this side and everything else in between. Every day you're seeing it. So it's always constantly there. And, it's like how much energy do you focus on it? And, it's like I think for me, being honest with myself, though I feel like I can get along with anybody, that's reasonable. Mm-hmm. But I don't have a lot of patience for somebody's being a bigot or somebody's trying to take advantage of me. I don't care what they look like.
Right.
We're going to have a problem. We're going to have to deal with it. And hopefully, we can walk away in peace and we don't have to go get ugly. I don't want to have to get ugly with nobody. And so that being said, I realize that sometimes I am triggered and I do get in a place to where, man, I feel like when us as a people really gonna see wholeness, really gonna see a place where people just, we can really have that space and that room to grow, and we got the proper tools, so we really can grow in the proper knowledge, so that we can grow in a way that is not coerced by outside but influences. Yeah, but regaining that inner connection back to our source, back to our roots. And those that was lost, we can create new. We always creating any new things.
Right.
So we can create new holidays, new cultures, new ideas around how we're viewing life, because ultimately at the end of the day, I have to be responsible for I'm responsible for what I experience in life and how I perceive it. So what am I believing? You know, am I believing in races? Do it exist? Yes and no.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like with Kanye, he made that statement, you know, like slavery was a choice. Yes and no. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when you do realize, hey, you capture, you surrounded, you can make a choice. You can either go with them, you can take your own life, you could, you know, try to escape at a later day. It's always a choice at the end of the day. So if somebody tell you ain't got no choice, they a lie, in my opinion.
Right.
So,
Every day you wake up, you make a choice to do whatever it is you choose to do for that day.
right. And so how you feel about it, that's your choice.
Right.
And so we have to ignore stuff in order for us to move past. But I think we've gotten to a place now in society where we can't keep sweeping it under the rug.
Well, I think that's where that the saying goes. You know, you've heard it before, where it says you have to unlearn what you've learned to relearn.
Who's willing to do that? That's the question,
That's
y'all.
the question.
Are you willing to go back to the drawing board? Because I feel like that now, even with my career, with what I'm doing with painting, I'm not feeling it. I'm ready to teach. I'm ready to have products. I'm ready to do more than just go out. Okay, you need this wall painted. No, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be able to really be of a more impact and teach people what I know, because I know I can only paint. I only got two hands.
Right.
So if I don't put it back into share what I know with other people, how can I really grow?
That's true.
So
Well, I think we left with this segment. I think we left the people with something to really consider and think about. And then when we come back, we're going to actually take it a little step forward and see how race and the division thereof can affect the home life.
yeah, I can talk about some
Right. So
separation in home life. We can definitely do that. So
we're going to take a little break here, you know, listen to a little music, pay a couple of bills, and then we're going to come back. You're tuned in to WDRB Media, the voice of your community, giving you double the information and inspiration. Don't go anywhere because we're going to be right back.